What does it take to change the world? For Steve Jobs, it wasn't just genius or innovation, it was vision. Back in 2007, when he stood before a crowd to unveil the first iPhone, many of his own engineers believed it was impossible. They saw a phone, Jobs saw the future. With relentless determination and a unique ability to inspire belief, Jobs led his team to achieve what seemed unachievable. This wasn't just about technology, it was about leadership. A leader isn't merely someone who directs, but someone who sees possibilities where others see limits. Someone who turns doubt into action and inspires trust in the unseen. But what does this mean for us? Leadership isn't confined to boardrooms or global stages. It happens every day, in our families, workplaces, and even within ourselves. True leadership starts with mastering our inner world, calming doubts, persevering through challenges, and envisioning the extraordinary in the ordinary. In today's video, I'll share 7 timeless Stoic traits that shape a true leader. These are not abstract ideas, but real, actionable lessons inspired by Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, philosophers who led not from ivory towers, but in the chaos of life. If this resonates, hit the like button, subscribe to Stoic Narratives Official, and share your thoughts in the comments. Let's inspire each other to lead with purpose, one Stoic lesson at a time. Long-term vision. Long-term vision is the first and most defining trait of a true leader. It is the ability to look beyond the present moment, to see not just what is, but what could be. In 2007, when Steve Jobs stood before the world to unveil the first iPhone, he wasn't unveiling just another gadget. He was revealing the future. Jobs saw something no one else could see at the time, a device that would change the way we communicate, work, and live. His engineers believed it was impossible. The technology, they argued, wasn't there yet. The doubts were louder than the possibilities. But Jobs had something they didn't, a relentless vision. He saw past the limits of the present and dared to envision a reality others couldn't even imagine. This is what sets true leaders apart. Leaders like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca understood that short-term distractions are nothing compared to long-term purposes. The Stoics taught that we suffer more often in imagination than in reality, a reminder that obstacles and challenges are fleeting when we anchor ourselves to something greater. Jobs, too, embodied this truth. He ignored the immediate doubts of those around him. Instead of focusing on what was missing, he focused on what was possible. It wasn't about perfection. It was about persistence. In his mind, the iPhone already existed. His job was simply to bring it into the world. But what does this mean for us? Not all of us are born visionaries. Some are gifted with the ability to see far ahead. Others must work to develop it. The good news is that vision can be cultivated. It begins with observation, paying attention to the world around you, looking for patterns, and asking yourself deeper questions. Where is this heading? What's missing? How can I contribute to something greater? Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "A man's worth is no greater than his ambitions." To lead with vision, you must first dare to dream. A true leader doesn't get stuck in the noise of the moment. They don't chase quick victories or short-lived applause. Instead, they play the long game. They see the seeds of potential, whereas others see the barren ground. Take the example of great athletes or coaches. A sports coach might see a player not as they are today, but as the star they can become. They focus on developing that player, not getting caught up in small setbacks. Similarly, in business, a leader invests time and energy into ideas that may take years to bear fruit. This requires patience, discipline, and unwavering belief. Long-term vision is not about predicting the future, it's about preparing for it. It's about making choices today that align with a larger purpose, even when those choices are unpopular, difficult, or misunderstood. It's about sacrifice, the willingness to endure short-term pain for long-term growth. Seneca taught us, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. A visionary leader prepares relentlessly, knowing that when the moment comes, they will be ready. They trust the process and stay the course, even when progress feels invisible. So how do we develop this trait in our own lives? First, slow down. Clarity requires space. Spend time reflecting on where you want to be, not just tomorrow, but years from now. Ask yourself, what does my best self look like in 5 years? What steps can I take today to bring that vision closer? Second, open your mind. True vision requires an expansive way of thinking. Read widely, learn deeply, expose yourself to new ideas and unfamiliar perspectives. The Stoics believe that wisdom comes not from knowing everything, but from seeking to understand. Lastly, practice persistence. Long-term vision demands action, even in the face of uncertainty. You will stumble, you will fail. But remember this, each setback is a stepping stone. Jobs faced doubt, Marcus faced war, Seneca faced exile. Yet they persisted. They held fast to their vision when the world told them to stop. Leadership begins when you commit to seeing what others can't see. It begins when you refuse to settle for what's easy and instead strive for what's meaningful. Vision is not a gift, it is a choice. In the end, as Marcus Aurelius reminds us, what we do now echoes in eternity. What legacy will your actions leave? What future are you building today? 2. Self-discipline. Self-discipline is the cornerstone of true leadership. It is the quiet force that guides decisions, tempers emotions, and sustains focus when everything else demands otherwise. A Stoic leader understands this. To master the world around you, you must first master yourself. In a moment of anger, Marcus Aurelius once reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is the essence of self-discipline, the ability to pause, reflect, and respond with clarity, not impulse. Consider the challenges leaders face today. Deadlines press in, teams look for direction, and unexpected crises knock us off balance. In such moments, emotions are the easiest leaders to follow: anger, frustration, fear. But Stoic philosophy teaches that while we cannot control the world, we can always control ourselves. And when we do, we gain the power to lead effectively, no matter how turbulent the circumstances. To understand the power of self-discipline, imagine this. A captain stands at the helm of a ship in the middle of a violent storm. Waves crash against the deck, and the crew looks on with fear. In that moment, the captain's discipline, his calm under pressure, his clarity of thought, is what holds the ship steady. It is not the absence of chaos, but his refusal to let the chaos define his actions. Steve Jobs, again, exemplified this trait. Behind the brilliance and creativity was a relentless commitment to discipline. Discipline over his vision, his work, and most importantly, himself. Jobs was known for his exacting standards and his ability to focus on what truly mattered. While others chased distractions or easy victories, he remained steadfast. He knew that self-control was not merely about personal success, but about inspiring belief and direction in those who followed him. A Stoic leader, like Jobs or Marcus Aurelius, chooses discipline not as a burden, but as a liberator. Self-discipline frees you from the pull of impulsive reactions and short-term rewards. It allows you to prioritize clarity over chaos, action over anger, and progress over perfection. But how do we cultivate this discipline in our daily lives? First, begin with the small things. Epictetus taught that freedom is the control over oneself. Each day presents opportunities to practice discipline. Waking up early, choosing focus over distraction, and speaking carefully instead of carelessly. These small victories strengthen the mind, much like training strengthens the body. Second, pause before you react. In leadership, moments of crisis or conflict often test our emotions. Self-discipline requires us to pause, even for a brief moment, to ask, is this response serving the greater purpose? Will this action make me proud later? By pausing, we gain clarity and reclaim control over our choices. Finally, lead by example. Actions speak louder than words, and a disciplined leader inspires others through what they do, not just what they say. Seneca emphasized this truth when he said, "Show me a man who is not a slave to anger, lust, ambition, or fear, and I will show you a man who is free." When others see you remain composed in chaos, focused amid distractions, and steady when facing setbacks, they will follow suit. Self-discipline is not perfection. It is persistence. It is the commitment to show up, to stay focused, and to remain unshaken in pursuit of what matters most. It is the quiet refusal to let emotions control you, and the determination to lead with clarity, not impulse. As leaders, whether in our families, our workplaces, or within ourselves, our discipline defines us. It is what turns goals into achievements, intentions into actions, and ordinary moments into extraordinary legacies. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Let your discipline be your legacy. 3. Listening and empathy. Listening and empathy are among the most overlooked traits of leadership, yet they hold immeasurable power. To lead is not only to speak, but also to listen, to truly hear and understand. It seems simple, yet few leaders master it. In today's fast-paced world, filled with noise, distractions, and egos, the ability to listen with intention and empathize with sincerity has become a rarity. The Stoics understood this deeply. Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." It is a reminder that leadership begins not with words, but with silence. The silence to hear others, to understand their struggles, their hopes, and their fears. True listening is a form of respect. It tells people, you matter, your voice counts. And in return, it inspires trust. Imagine a workplace where leaders do not just manage but connect. Where a manager doesn't simply say, do this, but asks, how can I support you to do this better? This is not weakness, it is wisdom. The modern leader who listens and empathizes builds not just results but relationships, an enduring foundation of success. Take this story. A small tech company struggled with declining morale. Deadlines loomed large and the employees felt overwhelmed and unheard. The CEO, instead of pushing harder, did something rare. He called for a series of one-on-one conversations, not to reprimand, but to listen. He sat across from each team member and asked, "What challenges are you facing? How can I help you succeed?" The employees, stunned by his willingness to listen, began to open up. They spoke about feeling invisible, about the lack of support in their roles. The CEO didn't dismiss their concerns. He empathized, took notes, and made changes, small but impactful. Over the next few months, morale improved, productivity rose, and trust within the team flourished. Why? Because the leader had done what so many failed to do. He listened. Listening is more than hearing words. It is understanding the unspoken, body language, tone, and the emotions behind them. It is setting aside your judgments, silencing your inner response, and being fully present. Seneca said, "Wherever there is a human being, there's an opportunity for kindness." Listening is a form of kindness. It bridges the gap between us and them, creating a shared sense of purpose. And what of empathy? Empathy is the companion of listening. It is the ability to step into another's world, to feel their struggles, and to respond with compassion. Many leaders fear that showing empathy is a sign of weakness, but the opposite is true. Empathy requires strength. It demands that we put aside our own ego to see life from another's perspective. Consider this. Employees don't leave their jobs, they leave leaders. A leader who lacks empathy creates distance, distrust, and disengagement. In contrast, a leader who listens and understands creates loyalty. They create what every human seeks: to be seen, heard, and valued. In today's world where technology often replaces human connection, empathy is revolutionary. It transforms leadership from a position of power into a position of service. It creates spaces where people thrive, not just survive. So how can we practice this Stoic trait? First, slow down. Be present when someone speaks to you. Look at them, not your phone or your watch. Give them your full attention. Second, ask questions, not to reply but to understand. Ask, how are you feeling about this? What can I do to help? And third, respond with kindness. Sometimes a simple, I understand, let's figure this out together, is enough to change everything. Empathy, like any leadership skill, can be cultivated. It begins with the humility to listen and the courage to care. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, what injures the hive injures the bee. In other words, when we fail to care for those we lead, we harm ourselves as well. True leadership is not measured by how loudly we speak, but by how deeply we listen. In mastering the art of listening and empathy, we not only elevate those around us, but also become leaders worthy of trust, respect, and admiration. Let us remember, to lead with empathy is to lead with humanity, and that is leadership at its finest. 4. Decisive yet patient. True leaders understand the power of action, but they also know that acting too quickly can lead to ruin. To be decisive is not to be reckless. It is to choose wisely, deliberately, and with conviction. Stoic philosophy teaches us that boldness without wisdom is chaos, and restraint without action is stagnation. Leadership requires both, a careful balance between confidence and patience. Marcus Aurelius, a warrior emperor leading Rome through war and plague, exemplified this balance. Amid the storms of his reign, he never acted on impulse. He often reminded himself, you must compose your life action by action and be satisfied if each one achieves its goal. In other words, take deliberate steps forward, but do not let haste cloud your judgment. Imagine a battlefield where the commander reacts with fury instead of foresight. Soldiers might move swiftly, but without direction, they walk straight into disaster. Now imagine the same leader pausing just long enough to observe, strategize, and decide the best course of action. The difference is night and day. True leadership does not panic, it pauses. It does not rush, it responds. A perfect modern example is the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962. President John F. Kennedy faced the very real possibility of nuclear war. The pressure to act swiftly was immense. Generals urged immediate strikes, voices demanded action. But Kennedy understood the cost of rushing. He used time as a tool, not a trap. He weighed options, consulted his advisors, and made decisions with precision. His patience allowed for a resolution that saved countless lives. This is the essence of Stoic leadership, knowing that every moment demands thoughtfulness, not just boldness. As Seneca said, a rash man is always in trouble. A wise man is patient. He knows that time reveals all things. In today's world, decisions come at us faster than ever. Leaders are expected to react instantly, to move fast and break things, as the saying goes. But what is the cost of haste? Rash words cannot be unsaid. A rushed decision cannot be undone. The true test of leadership lies in resisting this pressure and choosing the path that aligns with reason and values, not emotions. We all face moments in life when the pressure to act feels overwhelming. A misunderstanding with a loved one, a heated email from a colleague, or a decision that could change the course of your career. In these moments, Stoicism offers a powerful reminder. Control your response. Pause, reflect, and then choose. Epictetus wrote, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Leaders who embody this truth, who pause before they speak, who act only when their path is clear, command the respect and trust of those around them. They become the steady hand that guides others through the storm. So how can we apply this trait to our own lives? Start by recognizing the value of the pause. The next time you feel pressure to react immediately, take a moment. Ask yourself, what outcome do I seek? What decision aligns with my values? Slow down. Clarity often emerges when we give ourselves the gift of time. Second, trust the process. Rushing rarely leads to lasting success. Make decisions with intention, and do not fear waiting when waiting serves you better. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, nothing is made worse by the right delay. In the end, leadership is not measured by how quickly you act, but by how wisely you choose. Be bold, but never reckless. Be patient, but never passive. The balance between the two is where greatness is found. True leadership means standing firm, not because you lack fear, but because you possess clarity. It is the leader who acts thoughtfully, with unwavering patience and purpose, that transforms the impossible into the achievable. 5. Learn and teach in every moment. Great leaders understand that every moment holds the potential to teach, inspire, and shape those around them. They do not wait for the perfect time to share wisdom or guide others, because they know the perfect time is now. To learn and to teach is not just a duty for leaders, but a calling, a way to leave an enduring legacy through others. The Stoics believed in the power of the present. Epictetus taught, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." A leader's greatest lessons are not found in lofty speeches, but in their actions, especially in moments of challenge or uncertainty. They understand that teaching does not always mean standing on a stage. Sometimes it is as simple as showing others what courage, patience, or clarity looks like, right when it matters most. Take, for example, Marcus Aurelius. As Emperor of Rome, his every decision carried weight. Yet even in moments of pressure, he turned obstacles into opportunities to teach. His Meditations, a private journal of reflections, reveal this mindset. In it, he writes, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Marcus took difficulties and transformed them into lessons, not just for himself, but for generations to come. The true power of leadership lies in this ability to see beyond the struggle and to extract wisdom from it. Imagine a team facing a failure at work. Perhaps a critical deadline is missed and disappointment hangs heavy in the air. A poor leader would focus on blame, making the moment one of frustration and shame. A Stoic leader, however, seizes this as a teachable moment. They gather the team not to reprimand, but to reflect. What can we learn here? How do we adapt? How do we become better? This shift in perspective transforms failure into growth and resentment into resilience. The team walks away not defeated but inspired, knowing that their leader views mistakes as stepping stones, not stumbling blocks. The same is true in our everyday lives. Leadership is not confined to grand moments. It lives in the small, ordinary ones. Moments where someone looks to us for guidance, reassurance, or an example to follow. It is the parent who, instead of losing patience, takes time to explain. It is the mentor who turns a setback into a lesson. It is the colleague who offers clarity when others are overwhelmed by confusion. Seneca, a master of both words and wisdom, said, "While we teach, we learn." A leader who embraces teaching also opens themselves to growth. Every interaction becomes an opportunity to deepen their understanding, sharpen their perspective, and strengthen their character. By guiding others, they refine their own leadership. By lifting others, they rise higher. Think of a coach on the sidelines of a game. The team is down, tension is high. It is in this moment, more than any other, that the coach's words carry weight. What they say and how they say it can decide the outcome, not just of the game, but of how the players see themselves. A great leader does not wait until it is too late to speak or act. They recognize that this moment, no matter how small, matters. So how can we embody this trait of Stoic leadership? Start by looking at challenges differently. Ask yourself, what lesson can I take from this? What wisdom can I offer others right now? It could be as simple as sharing a story, offering a word of encouragement, or demonstrating calm under pressure. Second, be present. Teaching happens in the now, not yesterday or tomorrow. By focusing on the moment, you show others that growth begins here, today. Lastly, lead with humility. The best leaders know they do not have all the answers. By listening, observing, and learning alongside those they guide, they create an environment where everyone grows together. To teach is to lead. To lead is to serve. The lessons we share today ripple through others tomorrow. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Embrace the moment. Learn from it. Teach in it. The leader who seizes the present shapes the future for themselves and those who follow. 6. Adaptability. A true leader understands that life is fluid. Circumstances shift, challenges evolve, and people bring their unique complexities. The ability to adapt without sacrificing principles is what separates good leaders from exceptional ones. Adaptability is not about abandoning who you are. It is about responding to the world with wisdom, flexibility, and purpose. The Stoics believed in this balance. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nothing happens to anyone that he is not fitted by nature to bear." This simple yet profound idea reminds us that we are equipped to face any situation if we approach it with calm, preparation, and the courage to adjust. Picture a leader traveling abroad to meet an important partner, someone whose cultural values and way of conducting business differ vastly from his own. Let's call him David. Before stepping into the meeting, David does what many overlook. He prepares. He studies their culture, their habits, and their expectations. He reflects on how he should conduct himself to show respect and understanding without compromising his authenticity. When the meeting begins, David listens. He observes the subtleties, the pauses in speech, the tone, the unspoken language in their gestures, and he adjusts. Where others might push their own agenda, he adapts to the rhythm of the conversation. He knows that true leadership is not about forcing others to follow your way, but about finding common ground where both sides can flourish. By the end, he has earned trust, respect, and an agreement that benefits all. This ability to adapt is not just for leaders negotiating contracts or managing global teams. It applies to all of us. Adaptability shows up in small but significant moments, when plans fall apart, when unexpected challenges arise, or when we find ourselves in unfamiliar situations. How we respond defines our leadership. The Stoics remind us that while we cannot control external events, we can control our reactions. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." A rigid leader breaks under pressure, but a flexible leader bends, adjusts, and thrives. They remain steady and calm, no matter how turbulent the storm is. Consider the example of a team leader facing a sudden project failure. The timeline has collapsed, the resources are dwindling, and frustration fills the room. A lesser leader might panic, blame others, or cling stubbornly to a failing plan. However, the adaptable leader takes a different approach. They step back, assess the situation objectively, and say, "This is where we are. What's the next best step we can take?" By focusing on solutions instead of problems, they inspire the team to move forward. They adapt, not by giving up on the goal, but by finding a new way to reach it. This skill requires humility, the ability to accept when something isn't working, and the wisdom to try something new. As Seneca said, "A wise man adapts himself to circumstances, as water shapes itself to the vessel that contains it." Like water, the adaptable leader flows around obstacles, finding a path forward where others see only walls. So, how can we cultivate adaptability in our own lives? First, embrace change as an opportunity, not a threat. Each unexpected challenge holds a lesson. Ask yourself, what is this moment teaching me? How can I respond differently? Second, prepare. Leaders who adapt quickly are often those who prepare thoroughly. They study, listen, and anticipate challenges before they arrive. Preparation allows you to act confidently when the moment demands it. Finally, stay grounded in your principles. Adaptability is not a compromise. It is about adjusting your approach without losing your core values. In the end, adaptability is a mark of resilience. It is the art of staying true to yourself while moving with the world. A leader who adapts inspires those around them to do the same, showing that strength is not found in rigidity, but in the ability to endure and adjust. Remember Marcus Aurelius's words, "The mind adapts and converts to its own purposes the obstacle to our acting. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Leaders who adapt turn challenges into opportunities. They do not resist change, they embrace it. And through that embrace, they lead others not just to survive, but to thrive. 7. Breadth of knowledge. The final trait of a true leader is breadth of knowledge, the ability to draw wisdom from many sources and apply it when it matters most. Knowledge is not merely power. It is the foundation upon which leadership stands. The wider your understanding, the greater your ability to navigate complexity, solve problems, and inspire others. The Stoics understood this truth well. Seneca, both a statesman and a philosopher, believed in the importance of a well-rounded mind. He once wrote, "The mind should not be kept confined to one narrow track. We should range far and wide over every field of study." For Seneca, a leader's strength came not from specialization alone but from range, the ability to adapt and excel in any situation because they understood life broadly. Take the story of Seneca himself. He was a political power broker, a tutor to the young Emperor Nero, and a brilliant writer of moral essays. These roles demanded vastly different skills, yet his broad intellectual base allowed him to succeed in all of them. He knew law, philosophy, politics, and literature. When crisis struck, his knowledge gave him perspective. It helped him see solutions where others saw only confusion. A modern example is Warren Buffett, one of the world's most successful investors. Buffett attributes much of his success to reading, a habit that expands his range of knowledge. He consumes books across disciplines: business, history, psychology, and even philosophy. For him, knowledge is like a tool set. The more tools you have, the better equipped you are to tackle life's challenges. Leadership requires the same mindset. The challenges you face will not always fit neatly into one category. Problems are not just financial, technical, or emotional. They are often a mix of all three. A leader with a broad range of knowledge is prepared. They understand human behavior, recognize patterns, and connect ideas that others miss. So what does this mean for us? First, it is a reminder to never stop learning. The pursuit of knowledge is not reserved for school or the early years of your career. It is a lifelong commitment. Marcus Aurelius himself, though Emperor of Rome, carried books with him on his military campaigns. Amid battles and chaos, he found time to learn because he knew that knowledge sharpened his mind and clarified his decisions. Second, it means seeking knowledge from every corner of life. Read beyond your field. If you're in business, read history to understand the rise and fall of empires. If you're in education, study psychology to better connect with those you teach. Knowledge is not linear, it is interconnected. Seneca again reminds us, we should learn not for school, but for life. The true value of learning lies in how we apply it, how it shapes our actions, decisions, and leadership. A leader who continues to learn is one who never grows stagnant. They remain curious, adaptable, and open to new perspectives. But breadth of knowledge is not only about books or formal education. It is about being observant, learning from people, experiences, and even failures. A wise leader pays attention to the world, asking questions and listening deeply. They learn from mentors, colleagues, and even opponents. Every interaction holds a lesson if we are willing to see it. Finally, knowledge expands not just the mind, but also the heart. When you learn about other cultures, beliefs, and experiences, you gain empathy and wisdom. This is crucial for leadership. A leader with range connects with people on a deeper level because they understand more of the human experience. In the end, your knowledge defines the range of your influence. The more you know, the more you can contribute, inspire, and lead with purpose. Seneca once said, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." The world will continue to change. Challenges will arise that test your limits. The breadth of your knowledge will determine whether you stumble or rise, whether you react blindly or respond with wisdom. So commit to learning widely and deeply. Read, observe, and stay curious. A true leader is never done growing. The more you learn, the clearer your path becomes, and the more capable you are of guiding others towards success. As we reflect on the 7 Stoic traits of a true leader, one truth becomes clear. Leadership begins within. Long-term vision keeps you focused on what truly matters. Self-discipline allows you to master yourself before leading others. Listening and empathy build trust, while decisiveness, balanced with patience, ensures thoughtful action. Learning and teaching in every moment transforms challenges into opportunities. Adaptability helps you move with the world, not against it. And finally, the breadth of knowledge sharpens your wisdom, expanding your capacity to inspire and guide. These lessons are not abstract theories. They are practical tools, guiding principles for anyone who chooses to lead, whether in boardrooms, classrooms, or their own homes. The Stoics remind us that leadership is a lifelong journey, not a destination. Every day presents opportunities to practice these traits, refine your character, and grow into the leader you are meant to be. So, I encourage you to start today. Begin with small, intentional steps. Listen more, react less, read widely, and pause before you act. Remember Marcus Aurelius' words, "Waste no more time. Take action." If this message resonates with you, like and subscribe to Stoic Narratives Official. Share your own leadership stories or challenges in the comments below. Let's learn from one another and commit to leading with clarity, resilience, and purpose, one Stoic lesson at a time. Thank you for watching, and may you lead well.